Coach Bully. So now we're on to the Purple Pride segment. Uh, what do you think about JJ McCarthy and his recent injury in last week's game?
Well, first let's go with JJ McCarthy, and then we'll come back to the injury. JJ McCarthy is still in my book a bust. Now he's only played 2 games, I get it, but he's had the opportunity now to play 19 or 20, and he's only played 2. It's not like he's a true rookie, or he's only had 2 games to really operate. He's had a full season to watch, to learn, to be at practice, to do a little bit more than what he's been doing. He kind of looks like a freshman out there, redshirted against Ohio State. He does not look comfortable. Has he been pressured? He has. I just don't. I still think he should have been like a third-round draft pick, and if it was, his expectations would be a little bit less. But since he's a first-round pick, and we traded up for him technically by 1 pick, that I feel, and it's not exactly his fault that the expectations are that high. It's kind of like a Christian Ponder. You reach for a guy and then puts unworthy expectations on a guy that can't deliver. Now, when it comes to himself and the offensive line, everyone's saying, well, he didn't have any time to throw the ball, or he's getting pressured, he's getting sacked. Okay, yeah, he is getting sacked. He's been sacked 9 times. I think when I just look up the leader as 10 or 11. But he's also had 3.35 seconds per pass against the Falcons and 2.84 against the Bears. In Michigan, he averaged 2.82. The NFL average is 2.8 or under as far as 2024 goes. So if anyone wants to say he doesn't have enough time to throw the ball, I think, again, he's not letting the play develop. He's almost getting that Teddy Bedwetter happy feet, saying hut, running around, and then trying to go right up the gut, and he's not making it past the line of scrimmage. There's a sack. Well, you're not going to get past these big linemen. So he's got things to work on for sure. Maybe he shouldn't be running. Now he's got ankle injuries. Or is this a backdoor benching by KOC? Is this a possibility that I'm not saying you're faking an injury, but since when have ankle sprains been 4 weeks?
Well, it's a high ankle sprain. So, I mean, high ankle sprains are generally the worst of your ankle sprains, but, you know, um, and I think they said up to 4 weeks. Here's my take on it. I don't think that we can have high expectations of a guy who really technically is in his rookie year. Now, I get your points about him. Uh,
Being behind Darnold?
well, no, but yeah, that he was essentially riding the pine all last year. He got to sit in all the meetings. He got to see all the plays, how they're called, all that kind of thing. So yeah, so from a mental aspect, he should be with it much more than if he was a rookie. However, that doesn't give him the NFL speed, right? The NFL speed of the game. Most quarterbacks take a little bit of time for adjustment. You take a look at your Josh Allen's. Take a look at uh, um, Peyton Manning. You know, all even the great ones had issues getting adjusted to the speed of the league. I think that he has a good. I think he can be something good. I think Kevin O'Connell is very good at coaching quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I think that he should be able. All right, let me put it this way. I think we can get a good idea of who he is if we can get 8 games out of him straight. We'll know at that point whether he is going to be run of the mill or if he's going to be something good or something bad, right?
Well, and to go with that, if he can play, maybe Kevin O'Connell says, "Look, we don't really want you running as much as you did now that you torn your meniscus. Now you got ankle sprains. Maybe I'm not saying you have to stay in the pocket like a Kirk Cousins or now like an Aaron Rodgers, right? Kind of more of a statue, but we do want to have that guy that can extend the play. If you can't extend the play, you're dead meat in the center. And I think he's trying to get out of it too early. He's not having and I know rookies don't have as much patience, right? They haven't learned the speed. But is this a product of not playing in the preseason? Because he played a little bit last year, got injured, played one or two series this season or this preseason. Should he be playing more? Would that help? Are we missing Jordan Addison that much that he had a connection with? I mean, there's obviously more behind it than just saying, well, it's our offensive line. It is, but it isn't. Our offensive line does need a little bit of work, but
right
when you present those types of facts of the time to pass and his QBR opportunities and missed throws, like he's not even close on some of these throws. The wide open nailer down the sideline, he's overthrowing Jefferson. These guys are going to have to make incredible one-handed snags just to come down with the ball, and it's not been pretty. When you only have one good quarter out of 8, I mean, yeah, it takes a while for you guys to develop, but has it been that bad for any other quarterback so far when they in their first 2 starts? I don't know, man. It has been atrocious.
I think atrocious is a pretty strong word, considering how he played at the end of the Bears game.
But we know it's there. But that's the other part. We know it's there, but it's the Bears, right? So
sure.
We saw this against Atlanta. They are. I mean, there's different tiers.
The Bears are probably going to beat any team in college.
They should.
And that's the competition that JJ McCarthy came from.
Yeah, but he also came from a national championship team, a team with a great offensive line, a team with a great defense, a team with a great running game, and you're asked not to pass against the number 9, was it, Penn State at the time that they played them? You're asked not to pass in the second half. That says something. That really is a statement to, look, we have a close game. Guys, I don't want any errors. JJ, don't throw the ball. Okay, don't throw it. To me, that gives off of what if McCarthy did that? Or not McCarthy. Kevin O'Connell. What if Kevin O'Connell did that in the second half against Atlanta and said, you know what, don't pass the ball. Just run Jordan Mason all day. What would that give off a vibe as far as, well, this guy doesn't have it if he's telling him to just run the ball the whole time. So
we might have won the game.
I mean,
I get what you're saying. I think he's talented. Is he talented enough for the NFL? Remains to be seen. I think
we saw glimpses.
We're going to give him a run regardless. We drafted him as a high draft pick. There's going to be growing pains. I don't think he can be all that critical of the guy in 2 starts. That's my take on it. I'll be the homer, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Now, how about his backups then? So, since he's out a couple of weeks, Carson Wentz is in, Brosmer, and we just signed the 9-time Pro Bowler Desmond Ridder.
Yes. Yes, I was amazed he was still out there.
What's our best option to roll with?
So I really think that we should roll with Max Brosmer. I really liked how he played in the preseason. I think he's got a lot of grit. I think he's also got a lot of smarts. I think he's proven that he can play. And I don't know that Carson Wentz has it anymore.
I mean, he's your next journeyman. He's your poor man's Ryan Fitzpatrick, but he's a backup. Fitzpatrick was a starter.
Ryan Fitzpatrick was good when he played.
He was a baller. Yeah.
So the problem is Wentz. I mean, after he left Philly there, I mean, it was he just has not been. He's been just a shell of his former self.
Yeah, either it's Wentz's defense or he's doing it on purpose. But you notice he's signing with teams with really good quarterbacks. Played for the Chiefs last year behind Mahomes. Played for the Rams behind Stafford.
Yep.
So he's not really getting a whole lot of opportunities to play. Indianapolis could not get rid of him fast enough when the season ended.
Agreed.
The late Jim Irsay was trying to do everything he could when they blew that last game of the season and missed the playoffs to get rid of him and start with someone new. And I think Washington picked him up, and Taylor Heineke beat him out.
Yep.
And I mean, to your point, he doesn't have it. Is he a good mindset? Maybe a good leader or teacher behind the bench? Yeah, possibly. Could be. When he was drafted, I never thought he was going to be it. I never thought a North Dakota guy was going to do it. I really didn't. And same with Trey Lance. Still didn't. I never thought so either. So
Yep.
I'm not saying start Brosmer, but I'm also not saying start Wentz or start Ritter. I don't like any of the options, and I know you have to pick one, but I don't like it. I don't like any of it.
I like Brosmer. I really would like to see him. Here's the thing: are the Vikes with JJ McCarthy, a good offensive line, a healthy defense? Are we a Super Bowl caliber team?
With the JJ McCarthy?
Right.
Well,
A first year starting JJ McCarthy. Are we a Super Bowl team?
Not in the first 2 weeks, no. And I'm not saying that from a defensive point. I'm saying it from a JJ McCarthy standpoint. No.
So that's kind of where I'm going with this. So, and I'm not saying we're scrapping the season by any stretch of the imagination. Look at what Brady did, but there's only one Tom Brady in his rookie year taking him to the Super Bowl. But that's why I want Brosmer versus Wentz. We've seen Wentz before.
Yeah.
What's Wentz gonna do? If he comes in and he wins us all these games, and then McCarthy comes in and then loses a bunch, how does that actually set us up for next year, right? For when it comes to draft picks, let's just at least if we go with the younger guys, we can see what they got in the tank, if they're going to make it in the NFL, and go that way.
Well, to go off of that, it kind of reminds you of a couple of years ago when we had the whole Josh Dobbs era, and then either we benched him or he got injured or something like that. Yeah, the Patriot. And then we went to Jaron Hall, and then he got injured, and that's I think when Josh Dobbs came in. And then we went to Nick Mullins. Well, we know what Nick Mullins is. He's one of the greatest passers between the 30-yard lines, but he couldn't make it in the end zone without throwing 4 interceptions. So why did we stick with that? We could have opportunity with Hall. If we would have ran with Hall, we would have gotten a top 1 or 2 pick, or we found out that he's the guy. Now, clearly he wasn't the guy, but how many opportunities did he really get? So to that point, what if Wentz actually comes out and wins 3 games? Is he gonna continue to be the starter over JJ McCarthy when he's healthy? I know it's a big if, Wentz winning 3 games, but I'm just throwing the hypothetical.
Sure. So you're saying we'll have a quarterback controversy?
Yeah. And not a good one.
Ain't that the truth? Because then here's how it will play out. So if Carson Wentz wins the next 3 games, right? JJ McCarthy's healthy. They decide to stay with Wentz. He's got the hot hand. And then he goes on to lose the next 3 games. Then where are we?
Well, look at the schedule, though.
Boat that we are now, 500.
True. But look at where the schedule lines up. After we go to Pittsburgh, I think we have a bye from the 2 the Europe games. I think we have a bye after week 5, don't we?
Well, we play Pittsburgh.
Yeah, in
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
And then we play Cleveland excuse me.
One of the
Pittsburgh
2.
in Dublin,
right.
And then Cleveland in London, and then we have the bye.
Yeah. I just didn't remember which order it was. But then we come home for a bye, and then off the bye, we play like Philadelphia, Baltimore, Detroit. I mean, we probably will lose 3 games in a row, and it doesn't matter what quarterback we have. I mean,
true.
Unless
Very
you're
true.
really got a hot hand or we're facing somebody without a Lamar Jackson. but that stretch
Don't
doesn't
say
look good
that.
after the bye either way. Either. Oh, is he on your fantasy team?
I got. I'm in so many leagues. I got everybody. I got a little share of everybody. So I
Yeah,
just
dude.
want everybody to stay healthy and all my guys win me championships.
So speaking of fantasy football, what value does Justin Jefferson have without JJ McCarthy, or should we say with Carson Wentz, or going forward? I mean, does his
Well,
value change?
well, that's a great question. I think JJ can succeed with just about any quarterback play.
Well, we found that with the
The
Josh Dobbs
problem
era.
the problem is when you got somebody who is um, can read the defense and know when JJ is going to be open and can hit that mark like how Cousins was in his first couple seasons, right?
Yeah.
He was arguably the best wide receiver in the league. Now it remains to be seen. Now it's going to be kind of hit or miss. He's still going to get passes thrown his way,
Yeah.
but are they going to be on target? Are they going to be on time? Are they, are they going to be? Is he going to end up taking big hits because they are late? What's going to happen with all that? That's what I have a worry about.
Well, and
But I think he can.
remember the wide
Good.
receiver from Netflix when Justin Jefferson was on it, and they showed him all the possible injuries that he had. Sometimes he left the game because he's just using his body way too much because the passes weren't there, and he's trying to do a little too much. That could be what we might see is he dealt with a hamstring and he kind of tweaked it again. He might overexert and try a little too much because the passes aren't there, or trying to do this or that,
Right.
and he might end up injuring himself. Maybe Jordan Addison takes some relief off of him, because we haven't seen it from Thielen.
Yes.
We haven't seen it from Hawkinson, which is really surprising. And
right. I agreed.
again, this could be more quarterback oriented, that we're not utilizing those options. And have we used Naylor? We've thrown to him, yeah. I mean, granted, we really haven't used any of our options, to be completely truthful. But
And I would agree with you there. Yeah, I would totally agree with you there. I mean,
besides Jordan
other
Mason,
than
we have used that option.
yeah, other than the fourth quarter of the Bears game, really, that's it so far for the season, really.
Yeah.
Out of our 8 quarters, we got one good one. So,
well, if we're worried about blitzing, McCarthy's been blitzed 14 times. He's ranked 19th in the NFL out of quarterbacks, so he's in the bottom half. Quarterbacks that have had the most pressured: Daniel Indiana Jones, 37 blitzes against him, and he's 2-0, and they haven't punted. The next one, Dak Prescott. We don't really need to say much more about him. But then you got Jordan Love, Drake May, Bo Nix. So the guys that are getting blitzed often are finding a way to still release the ball, get targets, get yards, get forward progress more than our guy is. And it's almost embarrassing that, one hurry, like what? It's self-inflicted. Now, I don't think Wentz is going to be any more mobile, but that might be the guy that KOC is looking for.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing: is just to go off of your holding the ball too long. We got a 35-year-old wide receiver who's obviously not what he was.
Yeah.
So he's probably covered. We got Hawkinson, who's coming off of a big injury from last year. And maybe he's not open. And then we got JJ, who's probably doubled. So when it boils down to it, I mean, I think that can kind of paint you a different picture than him just holding on to the ball too long. If there isn't a wide receiver open, then why throw the ball? Right? So I mean, but I do understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that everything is because people are always covered,
Yeah.
but I'm also saying that
I mean, not
you know,
every
he's a
play is
young
everyone going to
quarterback. You
be
gotta
there.
get him
Yeah.
some slack. They gotta mature.
Well,
They,
I think
that's it.
90% of his passes are fastballs like Brett Favre used to throw. He needs to also learn
Mhm.
the touch. Throw the air under the
Agreed.
ball. To
Yep.
where the accuracy
100%.
will improve. Lob it over this guy so it's over the shoulder of the receiver. I mean, I feel like some of those things are almost quarterback 101. And is it nerves? Is it anxiety because to primetime games he just had a baby, a lot of things going on in his life, lack of sleep, whatever the excuses are, he should
Sure.
be ready to go underneath the lights when he played at Michigan. I mean, he's only lost 3 games in his whole
Well,
lifetime, so
let's put it to you this way. Uh, should we just go ahead and trade him to Atlanta for Kirk Cousins and take Cousins back?
what if we traded Wentz for Kirk Cousins instead?
Yeah, we would have such a cap hit. It would just it'd be so
I think you
ridiculous.
would piss off a
That's why
lot of Minnesotians.
that would be no way. We can't do that trade whatsoever.
I
That's just ridiculous.
mean, so many comments is insert your Kirk Cousins trade here, and just do it. Everyone wants to see it happen. They've all been talking about it. The 2020 reunion. All this. 4 years ago nostalgia. Is it really an option though? I kind of think like a 10% yes. If they can convince Atlanta to cover half of his salary because he's already not playing there, maybe the Vikings do. Because but I mean, they have so many injuries going on right now that if it's not a win now club without a great quarterback, then is it even worth doing that for 1 year?
So here's the thing. So if we do, let's say they did. So basically, if they traded him away, he would be a $12.5 million cap hit to Atlanta if they traded him, but it would save them 27.5 million, right? But let's say so of that 27.5, if let's say they covered half of that, so it was only 13 mil a piece that we would have to pay, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I mean, he was making 50 this year, right? Guaranteed. So
actually, his guaranteed salary this year is 27 million.
oh, so I'm wondering. Yeah, I don't know how it all
So
works. Maybe
next,
back ended or signing bonus or
yeah,
something.
yep. So, and it's because his cap number for this year is 40 mil. Next year, the cap number goes up to 57 million
But now next
for
year's
the
not
next
guaranteed
2
though,
years.
because he only had the
That
2. I think he only had the 2-year guaranteed, but it could have been up to $180 million. I could be wrong on that, but I thought
okay,
it
well,
was a
let
2-year
me take a
guaranteed.
look. So I'm on overthecap.com, which is a good site. Taking a look at you know cap dollars. So if we take a look at pre June 1st cut, so if we were to trade for him and we cut him next year, it says we would have 35 million in dead money and 20 we would only save 22.5 million of that, if I'm reading that right. If it's post June 1st, it would still be 22.5 million of dead money, but 35 million in cap savings. So
Well,
yeah,
saying that, I'll say no anyway. But
yeah.
see,
I mean, and not to mention in 2026, he's 37 now. He'll be 38 next year, obviously. But
oof, boy. Um,
yeah,
yeah, and definitely not our best option. And Aaron Rodgers was out there. Aaron Rodgers was out there, ladies and gentlemen, and look at
Yes.
him go. So another hypothetical then.
Okay.
And you know, this I heard on the radio before the season started, and I thought it was actually a great take. Was right now in the NFL, they can no longer play another football game. You have to make a pick. Do you go with JJ McCarthy or Arch Manning? And I thought it was a really good question. And then week 1 came around, and Arch Manning didn't look very good. Granted, they did play Ohio State, but JJ McCarthy hasn't looked good either. Now the question would still be out there. If you had the number 1 pick, Arch Manning declares for the draft. And I don't know. I don't know much. I do not watch college football. You could name tons of great quarterbacks. I wouldn't be able to name you any.
Sure.
Would you consider Arch Manning, or do you roll the dice with JJ McCarthy and maybe trade back or something? I mean, I just obviously a lot of hypotheticals in one, but I mean, is that even a talking point? Because I do not like losing. I don't know if anyone that actually does, but this season could be a 5-12 season. You might get a top 5 pick. Maybe you end up 3-14 with the number 1 pick. I don't know. It's a very hard schedule. We don't have anything lined up at quarterback. Maybe somebody shells out for a while, but right now it's trending downward. And I hate to say it, and after 2 weeks, because I'm definitely a Vikings big nut fan. So I want to see him win. I want to see him continue on. And I don't know if this is right now. I do not have a lot of hope. It just does not look good with all of our injuries. So what do you do with the number 1 pick?
You're saying if we had the number 1 pick?
Yeah. Big if. All in caps and quotes and underline, italicized, bold.
Well, if we did have the number 1 pick and JJ McCarthy actually played a majority of the games, I think that's the writing on the wall that he's not going to live up to the hype. Right? I mean, I would say it's almost kind of like
The Cardinals, they did that back-to-back years, I think.
Well, and didn't Carolina just do it with Bryce Young?
Well, they would have had the number 1 pick, but they traded it.
Right.
So yeah,
they traded.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I mean, in that scenario, I guess I would probably agree with you as much as I'd hate to do that regarding JJ McCarthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Calling him a bust at two games is a little bold, but you know, all those players that said, this is our guy, this is our savior, look at him, he's our QB, blah, blah, blah. Boy, did they go mute after week 2. And I was, I'm not calling for heads, but I was just saying, don't overreact. And I don't think playing bad 7 out of 8 quarters for me is an overreaction to saying this was the wrong pick. I'm not saying that he's a bad player or he's not going to be a great quarterback. I'm just saying at that pick position, I would have liked to seen somebody else and maybe get McCarthy in the 3rd round. Granted, I don't think anybody was going to let him slide to the 3rd round, but that's where I thought he should have gone. And I still wanted Bo Nix. Maybe now we should do a redraft of the 2024 NFL draft, right? Remember everyone wanted to do that after the week 1. Now we're going to redo it after week 2.
I wanted Drake May.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted. I wanted the Vikes to move up and get Drake May.
Yeah.
And
I was really hoping for Jaden or Bo Nix. That's what I was hoping for.
Oh, that would have been great to get Jaden Daniels. Wow. That would have been. I mean, assuming he would have been able to do what he's doing in Washington.
Even still, the idea of the trade for Herbert was on the table. I think they would have had too much dead money to trade Herbert for McCarthy, but man, I would still love to see that happen. That would have been nice.
Yes, it would have. I mean, he's balling out now. He really is. I mean, he's making the Chargers look strong.
Yeah. And what's funny, he has Harbaugh, the running coach, right? He's not a
Well, and
quarterbacks
then
coach.
and on top of it, I mean, they got a highly drafted running back that hasn't really done much, and then they also signed um, guy from Alabama was in Pittsburgh, Harris,
Najee Harris. Yeah.
Najee Harris,
Yeah.
and he is.
They haven't utilized him.
I don't. Yeah, both guys. From what I've seen in the games, they haven't really utilized either of them. But yeah, I
Whatever
guess they
plan
don't
they
need to.
have is working.
Yep. Quentin Johnston, MVP.
Wasn't he the brick hands 2 years ago? Couldn't
And he's looking good so
couldn't
far.
catch a ball. Yeah. Well, I mean, it remains to be seen what's going to happen here with the Vikings.
Yep.
I do hope, and I'll I'll be cheering them on and hoping for all the W's that we can get, and we'll find out if Wentz is going to be our guy, if it's Brosmer, if we see Ritter, maybe Cam Akers is gonna start throwing the ball. We don't know. Okay, but we got a lot of reunions happening. So that injury list is going pretty long. Hopefully, we can get some of these guys back. I do think they're going to try to rush Darsaw back this week now that school went out, and he was kind of on the fence of playing the last couple of weeks anyway. So, boy, they are banged up.
Yeah, they really are. But going back to your take in a previous segment regarding Jordan Mason, I think if he gets 20 plus carries, I think we have a good shot at winning the game. I think we'll have ball control. So, and I don't think Cincinnati's anything, that tough to beat considering Joe Burrow's not there now.
Well, Browning beat us 2 years ago, so it's a possibility. That was his coming out party actually, when he was all cheering about that he came from the Vikings. You shouldn't have cut me, or whatever he was saying. Yeah, that worked out well. So he's got a job, so good for him. But the matchup of the backup